Tarmac Sports.
So welcome ladies and gentlemen to round one of the 2019 British Drift Championship. We are coming to you live from Teesside Autodrome in Middlesbrough. My name is Ian Waddington, and for the second day running I'm joined by my good friend Sarah Hall. Sarah, yesterday we witnessed our Pro-Am competition. Those guys went really, really hard. We see some really good battles. Our top four was just mind-blowingly good. Really good attendance at the track. How was your first drift event?
It was absolutely fantastic. Like you say, the action yesterday was unbelievable. Thrills and spills all day, really, wasn't it?
Exactly. You've seen some this morning, though, right, in our pro practice?
This is looking pretty savage this morning, so I can't wait to see what's going to happen for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I didn't get here as early as you. You was eager. You was up, fresh, nice and early. You was at the track.
Coffee in hand, you know,
not as early as me, but we've seen some really good practice, and you said that these pro drivers have really, like, they're a different step up right from our pros.
It's another level altogether, isn't it? It's unbelievable.
So on the screen, you guys could see that we've got our pro liners, list of drivers. So you can have a quick talk about some of these guys. One of the first ones that come to me really is Tomas Falvey. Tomas Falvey, a driver in the Irish Drift Championship, now aka the Drift Games Championship Extreme. He's come over this weekend. He's got a championship competition in about a week's time, so he's come over to get a little bit sneaky seat time, and you spoke a lot yesterday about seat time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely vital, isn't it, really, for any of these guys. It doesn't matter what power you've got, it doesn't matter what car you've got, the seat time is vital. You need that experience in the car, knowing what it's going to do and how it's going to handle.
Exactly right. We move it along. A couple of other names that are popping out to me. Robin Neeson jumping in. Kevin Quinn's older 180 SX. Robin Neeson used to drive a JZX 100, 800 horsepower. I mean, just 800 horsepower.
It's not not a
nothing
lot, really,
too
is
shabby.
it?
Christian Burkhoff's in there as well. Looking down the list, you can see Martin Wanacott. That was the guy you run over to me as soon as I got here, and you was like, "You missed the biggest crash ever."
Yeah,
what happened?
Literally the first run of the day, and off he went, fully sent it into the corner, and caught the tyres, flipped the car around, damaged it quite badly. Within about half an hour, he's fixed it and back out again.
And he was absolutely killing it, right? Absolutely killing it, yeah. That guy's been driving for a long time, and he's a credit to our championship. Adam Simmons, you can see him there, car number 49, driving a brand new BMW Z4 LS3 under the bonnet, built by Clark Customs and Slide Motorsport, DKM sponsored. It looks tiny, right?
It does.
That little car on track.
It does, but he obviously knows how to drive it well and work that kind of agility, small car advantage. So
he's very agile.
He is
You're
flying
correct.
this morning.
Yeah, he's flying, absolutely flying. And as you can see, Stefan Stefanov there, Ollie Elmore, Ashley Stevens. Ashley Stevens making a return. That guy been driving in the championship for a long, long time. Stefan Stefanov coming over, representing Europe. A guy not to, you look at him and you think, these Europeans, are they any good? We've seen some of our Europeans absolutely flying this weekend.
Don't doubt them.
Don't doubt them.
And
obviously, first of our drivers that will be driving in our pro qualifying session today will be our Pro-Am drivers that finished yesterday. Unfortunately, Nick Brady not being able to compete today, didn't have enough tyres. So, you can't have it always, right? You can't get on the podium and drive on the second day.
Well, that's it. He's got something to take away from the weekend,
exactly.
Hasn't he?
So this on the screen right now is our ideal line. This is the perfect qualifying line. This is what would score you a 100-point qualifying run if you can nail this perfectly. Our judges today and for the rest of the 2019 season will be our head judge, Brad McQueen, followed by Ben Manuel and Gaz Taylor. This is what these guys are looking for. Nice, 3/4 of the way across the track from the starting, the scoring zone. Nice flick into clipping point 1, full throttle commitment into clipping point 2, which is where Martin Wanacott kind of got it wrong.
He got it a bit wrong this morning.
Pretty simple for the rest of the track. Full throttle, a little bit of a de-acceleration zone coming into out of zone clipping point 4. Nice line through into clipping point 5, which is where, Sarah, yesterday, a lot of them guys were ruining it for you, weren't they? They were just ruining it.
That's the exact point that everyone was struggling with yesterday. Yep. Well, most people were struggling with yesterday. It seemed to catch most people out anyway. It's an unusual angle out of the corner, and you've got to really think about what you're doing there.
You only have to look at the line on the screen now to understand how complex that line is to get from clipping point 5 to 6, which is a front clipping point just off of the apex of the bend. It's very, very difficult. It's on the edge of the the last portion of the bend on that hairpin, and then it's full throttle shift from 6 through 7, 8 across around the bank. And that's easy. That's easy for me to do because I'm sitting right here on the tower with you.
That's it. Easy for us to say, isn't it, while we're up here?
Exactly that. But we've seen some of our pros go really, really hard in practice today. Some really, really good door-on-door practice. And you know what? I'm done talking about it for now. Let's not talk about what we want to see. Let's see some action. So I do believe in a couple of seconds' time we're going to head down to the start line where we see the first driver of the day will be Paul Cunnington. Paul Cunnington, our Pro-Am driver, finished 4th yesterday. Didn't manage to get on the podium, unfortunately.
It was a really tough battle for him, wasn't it? But, he gave it his all.
Okay, so we're just waiting to get some confirmation from our start line marshals that everyone here in attendance is ready to rock and roll. Our judges just taking a few notes, just opening a brand new can of Excite Energy there. And if you're in attendance, a massive thank you for coming out, braving the weather. Sarah yesterday froze into a little bit of an ice cube.
I was, yeah.
But she's back. So a huge thank you to all you that come out today to support the event and bear this weather. And as you can see now on the screen live, our new drone shot. Now yesterday, this took me by surprise massively, and I didn't really know what to say.
We've been loving it, haven't we? The drone shots are fantastic, especially keep your eyes on it when it goes around that south bank.
Exactly.
Because it's an absolutely amazing shot.
It's unbelievable. We've very rarely seen shots like this. I was lucky enough to visit the Middle East this year, and they had a drone. They did some drone shots like this, but this is phenomenal. And when we see our pro drivers door on door today, to get that view on the bank, on the south bank, it's going to be unbelievable. So I'm looking forward to seeing that later on today, which is going to give you guys at home and who didn't make it, they didn't come out of their homes to witness BDC this weekend.
They haven't braved the cold like the rest of these troopers out there.
Yeah, the rest of these troopers. Apparently some of these guys have been queuing since 8 o'clock this morning to get in.
That's commitment.
That is commitment. That is commitment. And they obviously visited our trade village down here. We've got the RC drift competition going on, our Excite Energy lorry in attendance with the
Racing Sim.
We didn't get on it yesterday.
We haven't been on it yet.
We finished and I kind of wanted to go home and have a shower and get warm because I was frozen as well. And I was hungry.
Yeah.
I was hungry.
You wanted another Parmo, didn't you?
I didn't have one. I didn't have a Parmo.
You're letting the side down.
So as you can see, we're just going to give you guys a little bit of a view. You can see there, that is the south bank. Guys are going to get nice and high. And you can just see visually where that clipping point, where the final clipping point is, nice and high up on the bank. And you can see them 3 dotted lines. the 3 dotted lines there in the middle of the circuit is like a visual representative for our judges, so they know how far up the bank the car is if they're in the chase position or, you know, in a qualifying run. You can see there that final clipping point, which isn't really a clipping point. It's kind of just a, you know, a target to aim for
that's
as
the
they
exit,
finish up the run,
isn't it? Yeah.
on the finishing line. So there you go. That's the perfect run. That's a 100-point qualifying run, right?
That was easy, wasn't it?
It was easy. We didn't see, with the highest score we see yesterday in qualifying was an 86. Not sure what we're going to see today. From practice, I'm going to say a lot of these scores are going to be a lot higher.
Yeah, I think we're going to be stepping it up a gear today.
100%.
Definitely.
Because a lot of these guys, you know, seasoned pros have been driving in the Pro Championship for a number of years now. Some of the European drivers that are coming over have got nothing to lose. I've spoken to some of the Latvians yesterday and they were like, listen, we went away in the off-season, we didn't have enough power, so we just put a bigger V8 in with a supercharger and we've come back. I mean, that solves everything.
What more do you need?
What more do you need? So we're going to be definitely looking to see some higher scores.
Yeah, they're going to be going big or going home, aren't they? Basically.
Exactly, and that is it. Go big or go home. So we're just waiting to get all of our drivers and all of our staff in place and ready to kick off round 1 of our pro competition here for 2019. Obviously, none of this possible without our sponsors. So a massive thank you to Competition Clutch, Samco Sport, Corbeau, M-Tech Brakes, Hell Performance, OBP Motorsport, Funk Motorsport, Slide Motorsport, Tarmac Sports, Simpson Europe, On It, Drift Games, AM Details, Yellow Speed Racing, and Excite Energy. And some of them guys making trophies. So this year, not just any old trophy, not just one, you know, you just go buy at the shop. All of the trophies that the guys received yesterday were handmade by our sponsors. Slide Motorsport, Hell and OBP Motorsport, they made trophies for these guys. And I didn't get to get down there and do the podium, but from up here where I was standing, I was jealous of the trophies. They looked really, really good.
They look wicked. And there was a little sneaky trophy from Excite as well. They're
There
getting
was,
involved.
yeah, the driver of the day, Luke Barker, taking home that Excite Energy driver.
He deserved that one. He drove excellently
He did drive excellent yesterday. And we spoke a lot last night, a lot of the drivers hanging out in the hotel, having a chat, and everybody saying that if Luke Barker hadn't have broke that drive shaft, causing Nick Brady to, you know, stop drift, he would have definitely have made it, you know, onto the podium.
Yeah,
but a well-deserved trophy for him.
Definitely.
And we're going to be handing another one of those out today. So, you know, guys and girls, keep your eyes peeled. Who's going to be your Excite driver of the day? So as you can see, Paul Cunnington there sitting on the grid, ready to go, followed up by Martin Cowley. He took the second step. He took the third step on the podium. Nick Brady, unfortunately, not making competition. He's run out of tyres, but Nick Brady will be over the moon anyway. That car hasn't, like I say, worked properly for 2 years. Finally got it working, made him proved that for all these years that it wasn't him, it was the car. The car just let him down.
He's got the result he's been working hard towards.
Exactly,
So
yeah,
he'll be
he
well
got the
happy with
result.
that.
Finished second on the podium, and Josh King there. I said yesterday it had a Jay-Z under the bonnet. Obviously, I know nothing at all because it actually has a BMW M50, which is 2.5 turbo engine under that car. So you could just see there a little view of our pits and our trade village, the big gazebo, and you know, the truck down there. All the pits absolutely packed with drivers. I think we're going to have a quick word with our head judge, Brad McQueen. Brad, yesterday you was very, very. I said you was tight with the scores. You weren't giving out big scores straight off the bat. What are you looking for from our pro drivers to score? You know, a high score.
To hit a high score in this round of the BDC at Teesside, we're looking for full commitment into clip 1 to push them out to clip 2. Drivers that were suffering with issues of trying to get out to all the clips weren't going on enough speed and commitment. So as we've gone through the weekend, we've seen drivers get more and more consistent and better. During Pro-Am yesterday, we was impressed to see the amount of drivers that really ranked up on their driving. Drivers that were poor in qualifying ended up doing really, really well in battles. So for pro, it's just going to be absolute madness. Practice earlier with pros, watching, we just see tight proximity, a lot of aggression from drivers, and it was just a real entertaining thing to watch. So we're very excited to see how it pans out for the pro class today, because you know, they are pro, so you're in for a good show.
So there you go, head judge. Brad McQueen there just saying, you know, what he was looking for. And he's saying, like I mentioned yesterday, some of our Pro-Am drivers, I said qualifying really is a formality. It's just to get those guys in an order. And I mentioned it yesterday that we've seen 32nd place qualifiers, battle first place qualifier, knock them out and make their way to the podium. We kind of see that yesterday with Paul Cunnington, and he was a prime example. had a bit of a laugh with him yesterday. I come down from the tower and I said to him, what was you doing all day? Because all morning in practice he spent on the grass. And he said, I was just finding my limit. He said, I found the limit, I reined it back in, and there you go. He didn't do amazingly well at qualifying, but what he did do well in was battles. And I've seen him today pushing the pros, and he's not scared. He was pushing Paul Smith, who's an ex-champion in the British Drift Championship, around this circuit. So Paul Cunnington, he's hungry for it. You know, he wants to make his way into the pro class and prove himself as a driver. I've just been told there's no beanies left, so I missed out on the opportunity to get a beanie from the BDC merchandise shop down there.
Told you were too slow yesterday.
So I'm going to have to borrow your one later on today at some point.
No, not a chance. My ears will get cold.
Right, okay, fair enough. I'll just have to be cold for the rest of the day. So, guys, if you are in attendance, you've obviously walked past our BDC merchandise store. Go down there, see Loza and the girls. They've got amazing brand new design, brand new hoodies for this year. There's round by round t-shirts still for sale. No beanies, unfortunately, but
they've got lots of other goodies down there.
Stuff.
Limited edition program as well is out there.
Limited edition program. I still haven't picked one up. I need to pick one up for myself.
I tried to steal one earlier and then I lost it.
Apparently, my name or your name's not in it.
That's disgraceful.
So I'm going to confiscate them all until it's redone.
Single-handedly running this event and our names aren't in it.
Exactly. Single-handedly. I like that. I like that. So as you can see there, Robin Neeson. You might recognise that car from back last year. That was the car that Kevin Quinn from Quinn's Motorsport used to pilot. Robin Neeson decided that Kevin Quinn gave that chassis up to build a new chassis. I think he's heading to Europe this year, I do believe, and also competing in the Drift Games Extreme Championship. Kevin Quinn said, look, I'm going to put my car up for sale. Robin Neeson was like, what better way to resell my big, heavy Toyota Jacer than to put all that power inside a smaller car?
Makes sense to
Makes
me.
sense to me, and it looks like it's going well for him. Spoke to him yesterday, said he's having fun, enjoying himself. Tomas Falvey, another driver that I mentioned earlier, driving that white S15. That guy turned up with a brand new, amazing rig. Car looks on point. Not right now, though, because I turned up and he'd ripped nearly all the body panels off of it.
That just means he's fully sending it. It's
He's
fine.
Fully sending it. He's not, no regard to that brand new car whatsoever. So as soon as we get the all clear from our track marshals and staff here, we will be heading down to the start line for the first qualifying run of the day. And we are just seeing our brand new owner, look, Matt Stevenson, just running across the track there.
He doesn't sit in the office, does he?
He doesn't. He's active. He's
involved.
Always doing something.
Yeah.
He's in and out, telling people what to do.
He's the one running the show.
He's definitely the one running the show. So as you can see in the background, Paul Cunnington there begins to warm up his tyres, and we are seconds away from getting the show on the road. Look at that, Lewis Mitchell making the move up to the pro class this year. That brand new Boss kitted Rocket Bunny S14. And Robin Neeson, the one I spoke to. Andrew Earl in that PS13 there, that guy, an absolute demon. Sometimes he has a really, really good day. Others, depends on the weather, I think, with Andrew Earl. If the wind's blowing the right way, he can finish on the podium. Other times, he won't even qualify.
Well, that'll be interesting to see, isn't it?
So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. The first qualifying driver of the day pulls to the line. It will be Paul Cunnington. So Paul Cunnington gets the thumbs up from our start line, Marshall Melks. And he is sent on his way. Our pro competition is live, and we are ready to go. 2019 British Drift Championship. So Cunnington yesterday had plenty of seat time. What can he do now in pro qualifying? A very, very good line so far into outer zone 3. Nice and deep into 4. Look at that, all the way to the edge of the tarmac. You can see the constant smoke trail, which means he's on throttle 90% of the time. The judge is listening to that. The head judge, Brad McQueen, yesterday said he was listening to the engine notes of the car, making sure that these guys were using the throttle. They weren't off throttle. And Cunnington there, look at that, nice and wide as he takes it across the line. That's just a Pro-Am driver.
You say just.
Just.
Mind you, he's found his feet yesterday, hasn't he?
He found the flow.
Yeah, that's it. He's found his flow. I mean, that run was fantastic to start off with, isn't it? He'll be feeling really confident now with that. Exactly that.
Look, there's nothing better for a driver than a bit of a confidence boost. And finishing 4th place yesterday, you know, getting into that top 4 has really, really boosted his confidence. And we can see Paul Cunnington's score dropping in there. We're just waiting to find out our final judge, and a 78.6 there for Paul Cunnington. Oh, it pops up on our screen, so our new graphic system. Yesterday we had a few gremlins. It's going to be expected. Everything's brand new out of the packet for this weekend, so our graphic system working perfectly this weekend. And we are ready to go with the second driver of that. It will be Martin Cowley. So Martin Cowley He finished up third on the podium, so another driver looking super confident. He said he had somebody drive 4.5 hours to bring him tyres last night.
That is commitment and dedication right there, isn't it? It's what motorsport's
and
all about,
it was a friend. A friend said, you know what, I want to see you drive in the pro class. I'm bringing you some tyres. Let's do this. Let's make it happen. Cowley off the line. Nice initiation. You can see that little flick. Nice and deep into outer zone 2. But very shallow on the wrong line there, Sarah. You see him having to make it work now as he gets into outer zone 4. And you can see it's damaged his line ever so slightly, missing tipping point 3. He's trying to find his feet again, maybe some nerves. But he gets nice and high on the bank. You see smoke all the way up to the wing mirrors there from Cowley.
There's that drone shot we were talking about earlier on.
That is what we want to see.
Already on it.
That's what we want to see. Yeah, no messing around.
No.
Getting that drone shot in nice and early. So a 78 for Paul Cunnington. Where will Martin Cowley end up? So just waiting for Martin Cowley's score to appear on our screen. I'm waiting for our final judge. As you can see now, we've updated our system so that we actually can see who is, you know, the tighter judge.
Yeah, that's always going to be an interesting one, isn't it?
And obviously these runs, as you can see now at home, scored on an average basis. So each judge puts in their score. You would get the average from that, and that will be the run score for that driver. Just waiting for Gaz Taylor, and there we go, at 49 for Martin Cowley on his first qualifying run. Up next, Josh King, the man who finished first on the podium yesterday.
He drove very impressively yesterday. He was pretty consistent all day as well.
This is the guy that I said yesterday drove 110% of the time.
You're not wrong. He absolutely does, doesn't he? As we shall see in a minute.
Exactly, we shall see in a minute. He's been doing the same thing today in pro practice, but will the nerves start settling in for King, or will he keep his cool? He comes off the line in the JK Services E36 BMW M50 Turbo under the bonnet. Nice opposite flick. Look at that nice speed for King as he gets that trademark wheel popping up in the air. Not deep into 3 is what we'd like to see, but this is a very fast run from King so far. Puts foot to floor now. This is that funny line that everyone's been struggling with. Not for King though, gets it absolutely dialed as he sends it to the wall. And a little upshift. And stands on the accelerator and takes that car across the line. A very nice run there from Josh King.
You always know you're going to see a good run from him.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you expect it now. You're like, well, if he doesn't, it's either the car's broke or it's not him driving.
Yeah, there's something wrong if he doesn't drive well.
So judges just deliberating scores there, and you can see along the bottom now, graphic system working absolutely perfect. Ironed out all the kinks. So Ben scores Josh King a 66. Paul Cunnington there must have done something really electric. Judges absolutely loving what he done. So a 67 there for Josh King on his first qualifying run, puts him into second position for the moment. Then we move it on to our season pros. You can see in the background there, Tomas Falvey in that S15. So thumbs up from our judges and our track marshals. Tomas Falvey called to the line. You can see that very aggressive looking S15 warming up his tyres. Like I say, got a Drift Games Extreme competition in just a few weeks' time. So he's getting that all-important seat time, that Elite Autos S15. Drift 2 Motorsport. And Malk's our start line marshal there, just giving some encouragement. Off the line, Flavor Flav, Falvey comes off the line for his first qualifying run in pro competition of 2019. Nice initiation, removes the back bumper on the wall. No messing around, takes the exhaust off
as well.
Takes the exhaust off, well pointed out there, Sarah. Gets nice and deep into 3. Doesn't upset the balance of the car though. Flavor stands on the accelerator nice and deep into outer zone. Now this is the line that it looked like he was struggling with earlier, but he got it absolutely dialed this time. And Falvey was foot to floor and smokes up those Westlake tyres as he takes that S15 across the line. What an insane initiation. No messing around on the wall, ripped off the exhaust and the back bumper.
He obviously doesn't need them. He might as well leave them off now.
He doesn't care. Doesn't care about that car. But will judges mark him down for that contact with the wall, or will they reward him for it? You know, sometimes judges reward him wall runs and wall taps. Sometimes knock it down saying it was a misjudgment from the driver. We're about to find out as soon as that score appears on our screen. Oh, and there we go, a nice score. Looks like it's lining up already for Falvey. And look at that, an 86 for Flavor Falve. Drops him into first place at the moment. On the line now will be Alistair Sutton. Alistair Sutton, our 2017 Drift Cup champion. This guy piloted a E36 BMW last year, 2.8 under the bonnet. Come back this year with a more powerful S14. And Alistair Sutton's probably one of the most technical pro drivers you will see. This guy puts that car on the line every single time, no messing around. Look at this consistency so far from Sutton. Nice flow of smoke from the back of the car. Absolutely dialed. Oh, and a little wobble as he heads to the wall. The commentators curse ever so slightly, putting him off. Not as high up on the bank as we've seen some of the other drivers. But again, I think that upshift on the wall, you know, a lot of drivers coming out of clipping point 6 as they head towards that wall. We see it quite a lot yesterday, right? People struggling to change gear.
Definitely, but he did hit that clipping point, that front clipping point as well, which is an important one that a lot of people are missing.
Yeah.
So that's a good point in his favour.
That's right, the line coming out of 6, yeah.
Yeah.
So we wait the score to come in for Alistair Sutton. As you can see on your screens, the beautiful car of Scott Cartledge. I want a very low score there, 43 for Alistair Sutton. So that upshift, that wobble, you know, not what the judges
cost him on that one, hasn't it?
wanted to see. Scott Cartledge sits on the line in that beautiful Birchwood Motor Company PS13, 1UZ Toyota V8 under the bonnet with a huge turbo, a 3UZ under the bonnet with a huge turbo strapped to it. And believe it or not, Scott Cartledge, if you follow him on social media, drives this car to work and to the shops, just for fun.
Do you think he'll let me have a drive?
You can ask him, but I doubt it.
I want to go to Tesco in it.
Sequential gearbox, absolutely immaculately built car. Cartledge comes off the line like a scolded cat. Look at this as he fires it in. Cartledge nice and deep into outer zone 1 and 2. And a good line so far. He needs to get nice and deep into 3, and he carries that line. Look at this from Cartledge. We've seen some great things from this Pro-Am champion. As Cartledge goes nice and deep into 5. Perfect line through 6. No messing around with the upshift this time. Gets nice and high on the bank. And absolutely buries the throttle as he finishes up the run. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Cartledge putting on a show for you guys here at Teesside Autodrome. Well, look at this, big scores dropping in for Scott Cartledge. He's definitely going to top qualify, an 80.3 for Scott Cartledge on his first qualifying run of the day. And that's a good score for your first qualifying run.
We can see the difference between the scores as well already from yesterday. Yeah. I mean, we thought they were getting high. These are just fantastic so far,
already.
Yeah.
On the line, we see Andrew Earl. Andrew Earl making the trip over from the Emerald Isle. Another driver driving in the Drift Games Extreme competition. He pulls to the line for his 2019 Pro campaign. And like I say, this guy, driving style depends on the weather sometimes. But right now it looks like Andy Earl's making it all work for him as he gets nice and deep into outer zone 4. And a very good line now coming out of 5 through 6. And Andrew Earl not messing around, a very, very fast run for Andrew Earl. Nice and high on the bank. See that car completely in that final outer zone. And a good run there from Andrew Earl. So judges just deliberating, saying he had a very good line, but you know, scores not looking 100%. Maybe a few things that Andrew Earl didn't do there. So scores dropping in. Still a good score though. Andrew Earl scores a 71, puts him in the 4th place so far in competition. And we go straight back to the line, no messing around. Robin Neeson now sits on the line, that Fleet Cool 180SX representing Westlake Tyres. And this car, the ex-car of Kevin Quinn from Quinn's Motorsport. Now a 2JZ under the bonnet, nestling 800 horsepower. What can Robin Neeson do with all that horsepower as he comes off the line? This brand new build for 2019. Nice flick across the track, nice dive towards the wall. And Neeson nice and deep into outer zone 3. He's looking like a very good line, but oh, he's too deep. Too deep goes Neeson, underestimates it, and ends up in the tyre barriers.
He's not going to be happy with himself there,
He's not going to be happy with himself.
Just overcooked it a little bit, but that's what it's all about, finding... Oh, he's took a cone with him as well.
Took a cone as a souvenir of the day. Yeah, Robin Neeson, you know, very, very wide through outer zone 3, carrying a lot of speed. That is a de-acceleration zone, so after that outer zone 3, judges expecting drivers to slow the car down there. We've seen some guys four-wheel lock up when they've been carrying that much speed. Neeson just didn't manage to scrub the speed, overcooked it, got himself into the tyres, and that will be a 0. So 4 wheels off track will be a 0 off track here in Teesside Autodrome, dominated by the grass. Couldn't get any more simpler than
pretty
that,
much,
really. So unfortunately there for Robin Neeson, that will be a 0 on his first qualifying run. Lewis Mitchell now sits on the line in that Boss kitted Rocket Bunny S14. A brand new look. We'll just make it official. Look at that 0 there for Robin Neeson. A brand new look for Lewis Mitchell, and a brand new season in the Pro class, a Pro-Am driver for the last few years.
And there's Mark's just giving it a quick...
Just giving it a quick
last
polish.
Minute touch, yeah.
Having problems with that car yesterday, didn't manage to put in any practice runs whatsoever. Said he had alternator trouble, the alternator not charging the battery, so every time he went out and initiated, the car was fine, 3/4 of the way around the track. Then by the time he got to the South Bank, Lou went for the power up, nothing there, the car just cut out, he had to get recovered back. The power steering went, because it's all electric, why not?
He looks to have gone better this morning though in practice.
Didn't catch him, didn't catch any of his practice runs earlier, so he's certainly looking good.
He was looking better, he was looking better, so let's see how he does.
So off the line, one JZ powered S14 of Lewis Mitchell. And a nice clutch kick initiation there for Mitchell, carrying a nice amount of speed, but he gets it wrong and just goes to show you how easy it is to get wrong on that initiation.
And if he's had problems with the vehicle yesterday as well, he must be under so much pressure to do well now in qualifying.
And he knows top 24 competition today here in our Pro class. So, you know, look, 30-odd drivers. A lot of those guys are going to be going home. Just 24 making it through. Our top 8 qualifiers make it through to the top 16 straight away. The rest of those guys will do battle, and you can see Mitchell there just relieving himself of a little bit of anger as he finishes off
the looks of it,
that run.
But the car looks to be going well now, so hopefully that's the end of those niggles for him.
Gets it wrong. So easy to get it wrong here. Running this track backwards like we mentioned yesterday. Look at this, a nice initiation, carrying the speed, but just
too wide, wasn't it?
So this is so different for our drivers. We've never run this track backwards ever before in competition, and goes to show you how hard it is on our drivers. But a lot of people said it wouldn't work, but it works very, very well, and we've seen some very close battles so far. On the line, Matt Walker now waits for his qualifying run. S54 under the bonnet, 300 horsepower in this little BMW 30 now. Matt Walker has been driving this car for so many years now. He knows it like the back of his hand, and Matt Walker, we call him the giant killer. This guy can turn up and look like an underdog, but absolutely tear the Pro class apart. And look at this from Walker so far. Very nice line, just gets the front wheel through that clipping point. You can see him a little bit of a straighten as he comes towards the wall, but gets back into it. Just 300 horsepower, probably one of the lowest powered cars in our Pro Championship, and a very good run there from Matt Walker.
He's a perfect example as well of what exactly we've been saying all weekend, seat time. He knows that car so well, and it just all comes out in a
just
run,
working with the car constantly, driving the same car. You know, when you're building brand new cars constantly and not driving them, you're constantly trying to learn. If you can just get in that car and drive it like you do all the time, you know,
it's going to pay off.
It's a formula to win. And we've seen Matt Walker on the podium plenty of times before, just waiting for our final judges' score to drop in. We'll find out where Matt Walker lands, but good score so far on his first qualifying run. So there we go, a 69.6 there for Matt Walker, puts him into 5th position, not bad at all at the moment for Matt Walker. On the line, Christian Burkhoff's. This is the LS-powered E36 BMW, just slapped a supercharger on just for fun.
Yeah, just for giggles, really. This is one of my favourite looking cars. I think it's absolutely awesome. You'll hear it as well before you even see this one.
Exactly, very, very loud on the line earlier. It didn't help my migraine this morning when I turned up to the track, not at all. But Christian Burkhoff's comes off the line, driving in the British Drift Championship for the full season this year, so we expect to see a lot more of this guy. Doing a nice job so far, but not on the wrong line from clipping point 2 there. You can see it didn't make it out to 3. And this is a tentative run from Christian Burkhoff's. We've seen him pushing really, really hard in practice earlier. Maybe just trying to stay a little bit tentative, you know, put a safe run in, but That's not going to play any good in our pro competition. Nice and high on the bank though, nevertheless, as Burkhoff's absolutely destroys the pair of tyres on the back of that car. So Christian's Burkhoff's will get a score on the board. Will it be enough to find himself inside top 24 competition? We will find out as we move on competition. And in the background there you can see Martin Wonnacott. So Christian's Burkhoff's there, 7th position so far, 62.6 for him. That's going to need a little bit of improvement, in my opinion, to advance through. On the line, Nathan Chivers in that Hell Motorsport S13. Just 700 horsepower under the bonnet of this car, a supercharged LSA, representing Westlake Tyres and Hell Performance. And Chivers ended up in the tyres earlier. Can he make it happen? Now in qualifying, almost popping the wheel nice and deep into outer zone 2 on a good line through 3. Not as deep as we've seen some of the other guys, but Chivers making it work. Oh, but it's a scrappy line through 4. Now can Chivers pull it back together again? Looks like he was very shallow on a complete wrong line there as he came into outer zone 5. Completely missed that 7.6 that we had so many issues with yesterday. And Chivers there using all of that 700 horsepower as he finishes off his run. So judge is going to crucify Nathan Chivers for missing that outer zone. And look at that, yeah, a 39.3 for Nathan Chivers. Puts him into 10th position so far. And on the line we have Matt Denham. Matt Denham comes off the line in the Jap Speed LSX Performance RX-8, warms up the tyres, and this car, my favourite car on the grid. It just looks gangster this year.
It does. It's looking
absolutely
good, isn't it?
Slammed. Matt Denham always brings a good-looking car. Had some issues with an alternator, but this guy's got serious style, and I've banked him to be the new pro champion for 2019. So don't let me down right now, Matt, because you can see nice and deep into 2 and 3, and a good line so far. You just hear him, that new LS7 under the bonnet, 650 horsepower. You can really hear him pedaling it. Nice and wide and high up on the bank for Denham in that Jap Speed Maxxis Tyres RX-8. So wait, judges here just deliberating the score, and up pops Matthew Denham's scores for the moment. And look at that, a 53 for Denham, puts him in 8th position. He'll be happy with that as a safe first run, but he will definitely want to work on that. We move it along to the next driver on the line in probably one of the most iconic liveries ever done before. It is Hayden Cruikshank in the Fig Newtons Ricky Bobby livery. How does he see out the windscreen with that big Fig Newton sticker?
I've no idea. Maybe he's just winging it.
He's definitely winging it. This JZX 81 2JZ 650 horsepower. He's a lighting and audio-visual hire company. Cruikshank drove very, very well last year in the Pro-Am competition. Made his way up into Pro. He's very deep there into outer zone 6. He's going to have to make it really work to get back on that line, but he does. He manages to pull it back together again. There's Hayden Cruikshank. Puts foot to floor. A very nice finish up to that run. So there we go, a 46.3 for Hayden Cruikshank on his first qualifying run of the day. Up next, Martin Wonnacott sits on the line. This is a guy that had a massive crash earlier on in practice. And that car doesn't look too unscathed.
It doesn't look bad considering how dramatic the little off was earlier on.
I didn't see it. I missed it completely.
But I think most of the damage was underneath. He's fixed it though. He's back out.
Oh, and it looks like a jerky start there off the line for Wonnacott, so maybe some underlying issues with that car, but look at this. Nevertheless, Wonnacott not hanging around. He's looking for blood this season. It's JZX 100. 1JZ under the bonnet. 700 horsepower with nitrous. Coming all the way from Devon. the building company director. Absolutely nailing that line. And look at Wanacott, nice and high on the bank. This is going to be a good run from Wanacott as he puts it across the line.
He is such a super confident driver, isn't he?
He is so old school. He's been driving a very, very long time. A seasoned pro. He knows exactly what to do behind the wheel of a car. It just goes to show experience. And again, another driver been driving the same car for many years now. Always seems to like to do a rebuild though. Likes to strip it down to the bare shell, stress himself out massively, finish it 2 days before the event, barely make it to the event, and then crash it on the first day.
That's his routine.
That is Martin Wanacott's year after year after year. And I'm sure his wife Karina will agree with me, 100%. So the score there drops in for Martin Wanacott. He ends up with a 50.6 in ninth position for the moment. Seen this car yesterday, the Wharton Motorsport S13, but this time piloted by Mike Wharton.
Yeah, he loaned this out yesterday very bravely, didn't he?
Yeah, loaned it out. I mean, like I said yesterday, I wouldn't lend you my car, Sarah, to go to the shops.
Bit harsh.
It was a bit harsh. But true, though. Off the line, Mike Wharton, the owner of Wharton Motorsport from Higher Wycombe. 600 horsepower, 2JZ under the bonnet. He says he cooks the best barbecue in the world ever. Well, I'll tell you something now, Mike Wharton, if you don't qualify today, you're going to be putting on a barbecue for me. Puts foot to floor, and a very tidy run so far as Mike Wharton finishes up his first qualifying run. Just look at that profile picture. Look at that.
It does say in his description he's got curly hair.
That is an understatement. Curly hair is a slight understatement for what he has. So on the line we have Ricky Lawrence, and Mike Wharton scores a 72.6. Ricky Lawrence, the mechanic from Scotland, swapped out his SR20 last year for a 2JZ 500 horsepower. Says he loves dogs, and Ricky Lawrence been absolutely flying all morning in practice, nice and deep into outer zone 3. They're carrying a lot of speed. Look at the wheel speed, keeps the wheel spinning all the way through outer zone 4. Hardly any slowing down from Lawrence so far. Nice transition back into the outer zone, but he misses it. Gets himself on a funny line. You can see him have to correct the steering. Judge is going to score him down massively for that one. Not the Ricky Lawrence we used to see. He's almost perfect every single run. And Lawrence takes it across the line there. Representing RL Auto Services, Dynatune and Westlake. So we wait for the score to drop in for Ricky Lawrence. So Ricky Lawrence's score drops in there, a 64.3 for Ricky Lawrence. And on the line, the man that this year will be heading to Europe, nevertheless, representing Jap Speed and Maxxis tyres, Paul Smokey Smith, a former champ of the British Drift Championship, and probably one of the most handsome pro drivers we've got.
Is he really?
Handsome, very, very handsome.
I'll have to go down and have a look now.
You'll have to go down and have a look, but his wife Nicola is around somewhere. Whoa, look at that from Smokey Smith, big angle on outer zone 2. He's looking for blood. He knows when he goes to Europe this year there's going to be no messing around, and you know what, he's come with a different mindset so far. Look at Paul Smokey Smith, completely misses that outer zone though, just about hangs his bumper over the edge of it. Big upshift for Smokey as he heads for the final clipping point on the west bank. Look at this. Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for your former champion, Paul Smokey Smith. Absolutely flying. Did you see that angle he carried through clipping point 2? He was just, he initiated, he was like, listen, no, I can't mess around, I'm going to have to put this on big lock. Put it on lock. I thought he was done. I thought that run was done.
He definitely means business. One little error though, do you think that'll affect the scores quite a lot?
Yeah, he hung the bumper over it. He didn't really get into it. I've seen a lot of guys either going really deep into it or just touching it. Paul Smokey Smith, he kind of didn't get a wheel in it. He hung the back bumper over it. Is it going to hurt his score? It certainly does. Look at this.
It's the same place that's catching everybody out though. It must be the hardest part.
Yeah, so unnatural really there. And a 61.6 for Paul Smokey Smith puts him in 10th position at the moment. But if that is anything to go by, we're going to see a serious contender. And a driver returning to the BDC for this season is Ollie Silcock. Ollie Silcock leaves the line. And the returning driver looking good so far. Been out of the game for quite a while now. The operations manager representing GBH Motorsport. From Essex, a homeboy of my own. 1JZ under the bonnet, 500 horsepower. He said he had a year out of drifting to get his neck polybushed.
Well, you know, whatever you need, I guess. Does that make him a better driver now?
Well, I mean, I guess he doesn't have neck ache anymore, but a very scrappy end to the run there from Oliver Silcock.
Yeah, messy ending.
Yeah, exactly. Look, he just didn't get up on high on the bank. Looked like he had trouble with the car there. And look at that, Judge is not messing around. A 29.3 puts Silcock into 17th position. Don't forget that there is a top 24, so guys that are qualifying underneath that top 24, that drop-off point, you know, they're going to be out of competition. So it's all to play for. These first qualifying runs are going to settle the table, see where everyone's at, and then they're going to move on from there. Up next, Oliver Evans, the design engineer from Wales. He's another handsome-looking guy, but he's only short, he's only little.
That's no good for me.
It's no good for you, Sarah. No good for you. Oh, but big error. A huge error for Oliver Evans. This guy yesterday in the pro practice session in between Pro-Am qualifying and battles was absolutely flying. But I'm not sure what happened to Evans overnight, because on that initiation it all kind of went wrong. Pulls himself together and finishes off a run. You can see the VP sponsored driver takes it across the line. A 2JZ under the bonnet, 690 horsepower. Says he drove in a Bisu back in 2016. That is something I've always wanted to do. Always wanted to go out there and drive out there. And look at that, a 35.6 for Oliver Evans. So he's definitely going to have to improve on that score. We go back to the line. It will be Jason Clark. Jason Clark driving for Slide Motorsport and Competition Clutch. He says he's a master fabricator. Well, we'll see about that, Jason. As he comes off the line in a brand new car for 2,000. Pardon?
Took a corn with him as well.
Sacrifices 3. Slightly further. This weekend. Puts it across the line, but it was a scrappy run and not the Jason Clark we've come accustomed to seeing. So, scores coming in from our judges. Yeah, look at that, a damage score. It will be a 35.6. On the line. Is this your favourite car? Is this the car that you...
It's one of them. Livery-wise, it looks the business.
Yeah, the DKM livery on on Adam Simmons's BMW Z4 is a very, very good Adam Simmons. Debuted this car at Autosport this year for the British Championship, an LS3 under the bonnet, 450 horsepower. You know what, this guy is chassis very, very quickly. You can see how bouncy it is, how much grip he's trying to get into that car. Nice and deep it down, zone 4. Brilliant stuff so far from the DKM driver. Very nice line. Simmons is just really... Big lock, smoking the tyres all the way up to the wing mirror as he takes it over the finish line.
He's definitely gelled well with it, hasn't he, so far?
Yeah, for someone that literally drove the car 2 days ago for the first ever time, very, very well.
He's got some skill.
Yeah, exactly. He's got some skill. So it should be a good score dropping in there from Adam Simmons. Just waiting for a final judge to put his score in. And there we go, a 67 there for Adam Simmons on his first qualifying run. And on the line we have Ian Phillips. Ian Biz Phillips, the business. This guy's been driving in the BDC for many, many years now. Now he's got a Magnussen supercharged LS3 under the bonnet. LS3 before, but now he's got a supercharged bonnet between 620 horsepower. Drifting for 11 years. He's been drifting in the same championship. It's been a while. So Ian Phillips, someone accustomed to the qualifying schedules. Very nice consistent run there from Just waiting for our judges' scores to appear there for that one. We've just got one score, missing a score so far. Judges deliberating this one, but we get the thumbs up, but we haven't seen the score. Oh, here we go, popped up on the screen now. Ben not putting his score in, unfortunately, so not getting an average for that. Off the line, Aramis Fiscalis, he finished on the E30 that we see is now this year driving this white and blue E46. Look how high he is at the back, almost looks a wheel over the circuit. This is absolutely insane from the Lithuanian as he comes across the finishing line.
The nickname of Lunatics proving quite truthful, isn't it?
Wait until you see him in twin battle, because he's a lunatic. It's the only way to describe him. On initiation, he will be pushing the lead car. He'll be bumper to bumper. This guy has no regard to anybody, anything. As long as he stands on that podium, that's all he meant. And last year it proved, and it worked for him. He beat Dwayne McKeever. Dwayne McKeever was untouchable in the BDC. He got to the final round, and Aramis Fiscalis said, "You know what? I've had enough of this guy. I've had enough of this guy. I'm taking you down." And he did at the final round. It was an unbelievable moment for Fiscalis and everybody else at the British Championship. Fiscalis, unfortunately, I don't believe he's in our system for some reason.
He's disappeared.
He's disappeared.
He's that good, he's off the charts.
He's that good, he's off the cards. So, just a handful of drivers left to go. And unfortunately, it should be Julie Robinson. Or is Julie Robinson driving a borrowed car? So Julie Robinson, I've just been told, has borrowed Louis Edwards' E36 BMW. So Julie Robinson is an absolute veteran to UK drifting. She's been drifting in the British Championship since 2008. Missed only 2 ever rounds in the championship in 11 years. And this woman is an absolute credit to her. Look at this, jumps out of this end skyline, straight to an E36 BMW. No messing around, puts in a pretty good qualifying run.
That's not bad at all, is it, considering you just jumped into a completely different car?
Just jumped in it. I mean, hats off to Julie Robinson. Such a nice lady if you get the pleasure to meet her and have a chat with her. She's an absolute fountain of knowledge. And like I say, an absolute credit to UK drifting. But unfortunately, judges not liking the score today from Julie Robinson, a 43.3, puts her in 16th position at the moment. And we head to the line, Stefan Stefanov, European driver making his way over this weekend. Don't think I've got any information on Stefan Stefanov. I think he slipped under the radar, turned up, and just didn't want to be found out by anyone. Yeah, Stefan Stefanov, there he is. He didn't escape. 2JZ 500 horsepower, S13, the painter from Worcestershire. He says he's moving to England exactly for BDC. That's not dedication.
That's pretty severe.
It's pretty hardcore. It's pretty hardcore. Look at this from Stefanov right now. Completely sacrificed. It is very difficult. Stefanov, though, gets it across the line. I think the judge is going to mark him down massively. Yeah, the Romanian drift champion says that he's moving to England exactly for BDC. In the beginning, I was driving a BMW E30 V8 Turbo, and now we will use my very different conception for the first time. Stefanov scores a 41.3. That's just unbelievable amounts of dedication, you know, to just
move
a country,
come and do this
just to do a championship. And some of these guys, Sarah, wouldn't even leave their house to come and watch it.
I know, they're all sat at home in the war.
Disappointing. Well, we're heading to Driftland for the next round in just over a month's time. I expect to see them
more fans, more spectators. That's what we want.
Warmer as well. Yeah. It is Scotland, so I'm not going to say too much about it. Alexis Drew pulls up to the line. He's a part-time junglist. This guy loves his jungle music, representing G3 Pro from Welling, R34 Nissan Skyline 2, Jay-Z under the bonnet, 666 horsepower, the number of the devil. Well, can the devil help Alexis Drew right now as he puts 44. Sounds like the car has a little bit of an issue there. He must have backed out before he gets back to gear again. Alexis Drew now puts that car on angle, looks for that outer zone. Across the line.
He's really confident at the beginning, but that little straight up's going to cost him, isn't it?
Exactly, just one little thing. This is the problem with the pro class. You know, it's splitting hairs down to the finest degree, and one little steering input, one little steering correction can make such a huge effect on your score. And look at that, the score's dropping in, and not as good as what we'd like to see. A 54 there for Alexis Drew, puts him in 12th place at the moment. And Ollie Elmore now pulls the line, the engineer from Barnstable. Nissan Skyline 2, Jay-Z, just 700 horsepower on this car.
It's just baby stuff, isn't it?
But he hasn't had the weekend of a dream. Turned up to practice on Friday, found the inlet manifold on this car had split. They got it off, got it repaired. Back on last night after practice, found out that he had a blocked injector, so they stripped the injectors. They made their own injector cleaning bit of equipment in the pits. They fixed the car, and now Elmore sets out to put down a qualifying run, but he's understeering massively and takes the car off track. Kind of got it wrong. He was on the wrong line through the outer zone 3. It sends it into 4. You can see how big that outer zone at 4 is there. Just caught a whole load of understeer trying to slow the car down, puts the car off track, and the Hell-sponsored driver will abort the run. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Ollie Elmore as he comes past you. That guy, blood, sweat, tears, hours and hours of painstaking work to put it in the tyres, Sarah, not what he wanted to do.
No, it's such a shame for him after the work he's put in to try and rectify the problems to make it out there. But let's see what happens for the rest of the day.
Yeah, exactly. It's not over yet. The show's not over. He has got another qualifying run to go. And we see Ashley Stevens make his way to the line. Ashley Stevens. One Jay-Z S13. He's now a currency trader, representing Elite Money Design Snap-on Tools. 29-year-old from the Black Country. A seasoned pro, another guy that's been in the championship for a long time, but a very scrappy run there. A lot of wavering, a lot of changing direction there for Ashley Stevens. So there we go, a 14 place position so far for Ashley Stevens. Sorry about that little break-in. Just talking to our crew here, just having a little quick, make sure everything's all good to go.
In check.
Ashley Stevens was our final driver of first qualifying runs. I'm just going to have a quick word with our head judge, Brad McQueen. He can't see me. Can he see me? So, no, Brad McQueen, too busy at the moment.
He's too busy for us.
He just looked at me as if to say, no, I'm busy,
He's
I'm
got
working.
his clipboard
do you know what
there.
I'm doing? Do you know what I'm trying to do here? So, unfortunately, no, we can't have a word with Brad McQueen. Just wanted to try and catch up with him, you know, see what he feels these guys are doing. We haven't seen any really electric scores coming in. Some nice scores, but nothing really too big. Off the line, though, we do have Paul Cunnington for his second qualifying run of the day. Cunnington, our Pro-Am driver. Sacrificing out of zone 3 there now, slows the car down. You can see him just locking it up nice and deep into 4. Cunnington's having the weekend of a lifetime right now, you know.
He must be having an absolute blast out there.
Practice yesterday, he had nothing but dramas, and now look at him flying in the second qualifying run of his pro competition. And a very good run at that as Cunnington takes it across the line. So Cunnington's scores start to drop in. Representing Skid Risk this year, Secret Performance. And look at that, a 55 there, a 55 for Cunnington. So his original score keeps him where he is, a 78 puts him in 3rd place. Mike Cowley up next.
He's really battled to get here this morning as well, hasn't he?
Cowley has done everything he can. I mean, to have someone drive 4 hours to bring your tyres to an event just so you can drive in pro competition, I mean, that's dedication. That's like me saying to you, can you go home and get my toothbrush?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, he doesn't always get this opportunity though, so you know, you've got to go all in.
Exactly, you've got to go all in. He's going all in right now, Cowley, but he sacrifices 3 again. Another driver dropping that outer zone 3. It's quite a crucial point on the track. If you don't get that, if you're not on that wide line, it just doesn't set you up for the rest of the circuit. He's managed to pull himself back on some sort of nice qualifying line, but Cowley has got work to do. Puts foot to floor. And Cowley absolutely smoking up the tyres on the back of that car, making the most of what he can do here this weekend. So we await the score to drop in from Martin Cowley, and judges start putting them in the system. So we go, thumbs up, a 64.3 there for Martin Cowley on his second qualifying run. Moves him up to 10th position. So off the line, Josh King. Josh King comes off the line in the M50 Turbo car. Now look at this. Absolutely flying is King. He's going to want to really pull his socks off this one. Oh, but he gets it wrong. Gets it absolutely wrong. King going 110%. He was flying.
You were right, he does give 100% all of the time, doesn't he? He's amazing.
There's no going back. Like, this guy will just, he drives the absolute wheels off this car. And when you speak to him in the pits or any other time, he's so chilled out. Like, he's the most relaxed man you ever speak to. And you see him drive the car like that flat out, it's dangerous. That's what he is. He's a dangerous contender.
He's quite neat, though.
Very,
so that does
neat.
Suggest that he's quite a chilled out person. He's not getting himself in a flap in the car. Apart from his little spin, which is a little bit out of character this weekend. He hasn't really done that yet. So
on the line, Tomas Falvey pulls up for his second qualifying run of the day. Falvey scored an 86 on his first qualifying run. He currently sits in first place in qualifying. You can see him right up the top of the leaderboard. Can Falvey top his first qualifying run score? Well, he's going to definitely go for it. No rear bumper to remove this time. And look how wide he is into the outer zone 3. Falvey doing a very nice job. But he sacrifices 4. Completely drops wheels on 4 there, Falvey, as he transitions back. And gets that lovely front clipping point. Absolutely perfect. Nice angle as he passes the wall. And Falvey puts foot to floor. And finishes up a very, very good second run there. Flavor Flav. Falvey looking like a strong contender for a podium this weekend here at BDC round 1. And look at this, good scores coming in again, and an 81. But it doesn't better his first qualifying run. So still stays in first place for the moment. Alistair Sutton up next. So Alistair Sutton off the line, our 2017 Drift Cup champ. And this car probably one of the quietest pro cars we've got, but a very nice line, very tidy line there through outer zone 3. And like I say, this guy piloted a BMW E36 last year, 2.8 under the bonnet, run on some small part worn tyres and absolutely destroyed the Pro-Am Championship. But our judges ripping him apart at the moment, ripping him apart like a pack of vultures. Very shallow there, not a good line here.
That's it. They're looking for all the details, though, aren't they? That's what it is. This is the pro qualifying, isn't it? They're looking for everything. Every single part.
So an 18th place qualifying position. He does better his first score. He gets a 45 on the second. And on the line we move to Scott Cartledge. So Scott Cartledge comes off the line. 3 UZ. Look at this from Cartledge. Nice opposite flick onto the wall from Cartledge as he puts foot to floor. The daily driven PS13. Absolutely hammering around here at Teesside Circuit. So the MOT tester from Chesterfield. 700 horsepower residing under the bonnet now, this PS13. Look at this. Absolutely flying his Cartledge as he takes it across the line, representing Birchwood Motor Company, Westlake, Rotor and CG Clutch. So judges saying they're using Tomas Falvi's qualifying run as like a guide to how good and where these guys want to be. You can hear him in the background there, a 79 so far, dropping in. Falvi's run very good though, very
good. It was a very, very impressive run, so I can see why they're using that as a bit of a yardstick for the rest.
Yeah, exactly, yeah, yardstick, you're right. So Cartledge, a 279 so far. Ben and Gaz completely agreeing. What does that head judge Brad say about Scott Cartledge's second qualifying run? So it will be no score there for, unfortunately. So no score there for Scott Cartledge. We will be moving on to our next driver. It will be Andrew Earl. Andrew Earl off the line, the surveyor. So 2 BDC podiums last year, SR20 under the bonnet, 450 horsepower. And Andrew Earl, a nice line so far. Very technical, looks like he's chilled himself out a little bit here. And he's kind of making it a more technical run than what he did on his first qualifying run. This is where he had a big waver last time, but he gets it absolutely dialed for the second run. Nice upshift and a good finish across the line there for Andrew Earl. Interesting facts about you, Andrew Earl, none.
There must be something. Is he being a bit modest?
He's being a bit modest, I think. He just likes drifting. That's it. That is all it is.
There's nothing wrong with that. So do we all. That's why we're here.
We all love drifting. So Andrew Earl's second score starts to drop into the system, and it's lower than his first one. So it doesn't look like he'll be improving from his current qualifying position, which is 5th, as he makes his way back to the pits. We see Robin Neeson now on the line, the refrigeration engineer, representing Fleet Cool Refrigeration from Northern Ireland. He says he works too much, but he likes walking. So off the line, Neeson in the brand new build, the ex-Quins Motorsport 180SX. Says a modest 600 horsepower this year. That's a lie. I know it's about 800. He's just, you know, playing games, I do believe, is Robin Neeson. Robin Neeson now really starting to make this one work a lot better than his first qualifying run. He's got a 0 on the first run. Did Neeson. Neeson needs to make it happen now, and he puts foot to floor. Look at this, absolutely flying. Is Neeson? Oh, but he almost fell off track there. Had a little wobble as he come through. A
little bit of a wobble.
That outer zone. But it looks like he's found his feet.
But he made it, yeah. That was a good run. He'll be happier with that.
He'll just be happy to get in the show. He's currently out of that top 24 in 25th position. And Robin Neeson's score drops into our system. We head back to the line where we do see Lewis Mitchell. So Lewis Mitchell heads to the line. Got it all wrong in his first qualifying run, ended up in the grass and on the tyres. But can he, you know, rectify those issues? Had problems with that car yesterday, as we mentioned, with the alternator. Managed to get it working again, representing Mitchell's Motorsport. Graham Styling, JL O'Rourke's and Sons, Trace Tyres, Bulldog Services and Boundless Inc. The 26-year-old from Spalding now makes it past clipping point 2, not as deep into 3. Oh, but he does it again. He does it again. Maybe some problems with that car. 550 horsepower, 1JZ under the weight. He's been driving in BDC for 6 years, top 16 finishes, qualified top 10 every round last year, and won some local events. But unfortunately for Lewis Mitchell, there will be another 0 on the board. So not the weekend he was looking for. He just dropped out of competition, 26th place.
It's such a shame. He's had really good results before, so he'll be feeling the frustration of this weekend, won't he?
Exactly, yeah.
But hopefully he can have a look at the car, work out any niggles and get back for round 2.
Yeah, we've got quite a bit of time before round 2, time to go away, prepare, test the car, get out. And I know he does quite a lot of demos in that car with his family. His family very motorsport orientated. His grandfather, who comes to every event, is a hot rod hero.
Amazing.
An absolute hot rod hero. He's got more trophies than a trophy shop. So he's absolute hero. Motorsport in their family. Off the line though, Matt Walker now, the giant killer. Matt Walker in that little E30 BMW S54 under the bonnet, 350 horsepower. The only fact he has about himself is that he has curly hair. That is it.
It's not a lie. He's entirely truthful with that.
He's changed it, because last year it used to say that he was a cat and he had 9 lives. And Matt Walker absolutely nailing that qualifying line so far. Look at that from Matt Walker as he takes it across the line. Judge is absolutely loving every moment of that.
And he's got reasonably low horsepower compared to a lot of others as well.
Exactly. Yeah, he's not up there like the 600-700s. I mean, you look down this list: 620, 600. We flick over 500, 700, 700, 500. All these guys, big turbo horsepower cars. Matt Walker just a little straight
a little
6
350
M3,
horsepower.
a little 350 horsepower off the line. Christian Burkhoff's a man who has got all the horsepower under the sun. Oh, look at that big front wheel lock up there from Christian Burkhoff's. A scrappy first qualifying run there from the European driver.
And he's overcooked it. Oh, it's such a shame, because this was not happening in practice. It's just typical, isn't it?
Absolutely flying in practice was Christian Burkhoff's.
I think he's feeling a bit of pressure now. It's a
100%,
qualifying.
100% he's feeling the pressure. I mean, if he doesn't, his score on his first qualifying run, I'm just having a look, was a 62.6. He is in 11th position at the moment. I'm pretty sure he's going to be safe for qualifying. But you know what? That doesn't fill him with confidence going into the top 24 battles later on. You can see that Whipple supercharger hanging out the bonnet. Look at this, a nice slow down replay. Comes out nice and wide on 5, just carrying a little bit too much wheel speed. Just got a little bit too carried away with himself, and unfortunately there for Christian Burkhoff, that will be the end of his qualifying runs for today. A 0 on his second qualifying run. We move it along. Nathan Chivers up next. And Nathan Chivers driving alongside Ollie Elmore this year under Hell Motorsport. Chivers been in the game for a very long time now, 11 years strong in the British Drift Championship. And Chivers with the LSA under the bonnet, supercharged V8. Flying, nice line into outer zone 3. He's the owner of GDA Sports Cars in Tunbridge in Kent. And Chivers puts foot to floor and unleashes all of that power. 703 horsepower. Look at this from Chivers, nice and high on the bank. Is he going to be rewarded from the judges? Chivers looks like he's gelling with that car more and more. He was one of those guys that used to take it apart every season, not do any seat time. And I think now he's just learnt that leave it as it is, it works, just go drive it, go learn.
Yeah, you know, don't change the formula.
No, exactly.
Just
and look
get
at
out
that,
there and practice.
A 58, so he does improve, moves himself up to
Excellent.
13th position for his second qualifying run. We go back to the line and we see my favourite car on the grid, the RX-8 of Matt Denham, representing Maxxis tyres and Japspeed, LSX Performance. He's 6'5" tall and one of the most, you know, apologetic guys you've ever met. You say hello, he says, I'm sorry. Matt Denham, though, not sorry right now, to the back wheel on that Mazda RX-8 and gets it very much wrong as Denham almost rips the wheels off that car. So unfortunately that will be a 0 there for Denham on his second qualifying run. Denham, though, he did score a 53. This isn't the you know, the usual Denham. He's normally a contender, and I put a bet on him a couple of months ago and said this guy was going to 100% be a pro champion or a contender for this year's championship. I just think he's got a few teething problems in that brand new car. He changed it up massively. It used to have a turbo under the back bumper. So the turbo used to be in the boot, and the boost pipe run all the way through the car. Had lots of problems with it. Unfortunately, it never worked out for him. He changed over to a naturally aspirated, a supercharged LS7 for this season, but just didn't really work last year. But he's, again, someone who's changed their car now. They've got to try and learn it again. And
exactly, and hopefully he can go away and, you know, have a little look at the car, come back stronger for round 2.
Exactly that. So just trying to make sure our track is safe before we send any more cars. As you can see there, our track marshal Jason Slade down there just demonstrating how deep that hole is that our drivers have dug, and that's quite a rut now. If a driver goes down it, that's, well, as we see.
That's it. It just sends you out. You're a passenger after that, aren't you? As long as if you hit that with the back wheels, that's it.
It's game over. It's game over. It's definitely the end of the run, that's for sure. So our track marshal Jason Slade there. I think he's happy. I think he's you know, happy with that. Look at that. You can see that on the replay there. Denham. That was a serious thump for Denham there going into that. That car looks so cool. Those Huxley Motorsport
It's a good looking car.
Huxley Motorsport Arches just make that car look super
Another
low.
good looking car.
Yeah, the Ricky Bobby Fig Newton's Wonder JZX 81 Toyota Cresta of Hayden Cruikshank. Hayden Cruikshank, so he for a living, he's a director and a manager. Oh, and he shuts it down ever so slightly as he comes into outer zone 5. There's a scrappy run now for Hayden. He's going to have to really work hard to pull any kind of points back. He puts lighting up at concerts and venues. It means this week, this guy gets to go to raves and concerts every weekend.
For free.
Every single, for free.
He gets paid. Yeah, he gets paid to do it.
What a job, what a job. He says he's a master scuba diver, is a granddad. He has free drift cars stored at Ibiza. Yeah, this guy constantly in Japan driving his drift cars. I mean, what a life.
What a life.
He scores a 42 on his second run, not enough to beat his first qualifying score of 46, so he stays where he is in 18th position. And Martin Wonnacott pulls to the line in that JZX 100.
I can't believe he's a granddad.
He's a granddad.
Doesn't look old enough to be a granddad.
Doesn't look old enough to be a granddad. So Martin Wonnacott on the line.
So good to see him out. We didn't think he might make it after that little off in
These
practice.
guys are super determined. They won't mess around. They'll get these cars fixed and back out. And Wonnacott proving pure determination. He's come this year to really put everything on the line. Picked up some new sponsors in the off-season. He's now under the Pro Drift Academy partner. Pro Tuner, Figs Engineering, Hell Performance, Volkscraft, Garage D, Exo Racing, Vitor Tyres, and RJ Auto. Comes all the way from Devon, and look at that big angle as he takes it across the line from Wonnacott. Wonnacott getting a round of applause from the judges. Was that enough to top Falvey's score of an 86? Wonnacott currently sits in 17th position with a 50.6, and you can see the purge of nitrous there from the car of Mike Walton. Oh, it's a big score coming in.
Dropping in there.
Look at this, an 83.3 puts him into second place so far from Martin Wonnacott. What a drive. Looks like his weekend was over this morning, but no messing around. Mike Walton sits on the line ready to do battle, the boss at Walton Motorsport. I can't even read what he's written out here in his description.
He's the sexiest person in drifting, he says.
Apparently. Not with that hair. But Mike Walton now just shy on outer zone 3. Needs to pull it back together again. He scored a 72.6 in his first qualifying run. Currently sees himself in 6th place in qualifying, so he is safe inside them top 8 to go straight to our top 16. And Walton, oh, Walton overcooks it. Look at the judges' reaction. Looked like it was going to be a big score. It looked like it was going to be a big score. Our head judge, Brad McQuinn, takes off his hat and throws it to the ground in disgrace. Wow, and Ben Manuel just saying to us in the tower that was close to being a top qualifying score, Sarah.
Oh, it's just that last minute as well.
Just put too much into it, So it will be a 0 there for Mike Walton on his second qualifying run. We make it official, and there he is in 6th place.
I love his photograph.
Ricky Lawrence comes off the line. I'm not saying anything about that photograph. It disturbs me. Ricky Lawrence with a big initiation. Look at this from Ricky Lawrence. He puts on big angle now. These guys not messing around. They're starting to bring the heat. Look at this from Ricky Lawrence. So far in. So deep into outer zone 3, nice consistent smoke line as well. He's on throttle for most of the track. Ricky Lawrence making this one work. This could be a contender for top qualifying. He's made the change. Oh, wow, what happened there? Ricky Lawrence just looked like the car didn't get up on boost. And he's trying his best right now.
He's got his hand out the window as well. He's
happy.
Obviously happy with himself on that one.
He's happy with himself right there. So Ricky Lawrence, the Scotsman. He'll be happy when we go to Driftland just round the corner to his house. Where does he drop in? Look at that, a nice score. 78.3 puts him up into 5th place.
Good improvement on his last score.
Good improvement
as well.
on the first score. Up next is Paul Smokey Smith. He's been drifting for 15 years now. He's a 2012 Pro British Drift champion and multiple podium finisher. He's heading to Europe this year to represent Jap Speed and Maxxis Tyres in the Drift Masters European Championship. And Smokey Smith using this as a test bed to test his skills before he heads out there. Look at Smokey Smith, absolute aggressive driving, no messing around. Look at the throttle control from Smokey Smith. Big clutch kick as he heads towards the wall. And Paul Smokey Smith, ladies and gentlemen, puts foot to floor, finished up an unbelievable run. Teesside makes some noise for Paul Smokey Smith, your former champ. And he's going to go to Europe and represent us, represent the UK in Europe. And let me tell you now, that is not an easy gig.
I'm happy with that, though. I'd be happy with him representing UK drifting.
He's good looking, he could drive a car, he's friendly. What does he score on his second qualifying run? An 83! An 83 for Paul Smokey Smith, puts him into second position. Nobody yet managing to top the first place qualifying. A GBH Motorsport driver comes off the line, Oliver Silcock. And Oliver Silcock making his return to British drifting after some time out. So Oliver Silcock there. I want to know what this means. What does it mean?
That he had a year out from drifting to get his neck polybushed.
What does that mean?
Well, maybe he's a robot.
Maybe that is what we're going to use.
He's
a robot. He's got some serious problems though with that upshift. Every time he comes towards the wall, that upshift messes him up, drops him down the bank. And look again, looks like the car just doesn't want to play ball. Oliver Silcock scored a 29.3 on his first qualifying run. He currently sits on the drop zone. He sits in 24th position.
For him.
So he's got work to do, and his second score puts him into the same place again. A 29 on his second qualifying run moves him back. That keeps him where he is. So he is hanging in the balance. Can he hold on to that 24th place qualifying position? We'll find out. Up next on the line is Oliver Evans. Oliver Evans, our VP Racing Fuel driver from Wales. Oliver Evans made a big mistake on his first qualifying run. Well, this young guy doesn't do the same thing twice. Look at this from Evans, looking good so far. VP Racing Fuels on the side of that car. Representing Link ECU, Aleco Drift, DY Engine Services, Washloo, APW Engineering and Westlake Tyres. And look at that from Evans, nice and high on the bank, absolutely destroying those Westlake Tyres as he puts foot to floor across the line. Unbelievable stuff from the young man from Wales. That's going to be a good score. I'll be very, very surprised if Oliver Evans doesn't top qualifying with that. Can Evans take down the Irish once again? We know he's got a grudge with the Irish. Can he do it? No, he can't. An 80.3 for Evans puts him into 5th place. He'll be happy with that. He's inside that top 8. Up next, the Master Fabricator sits on the line to do his second qualifying run of the day in a brand new car. It is, of course, none other than Jason Clark from Slide Motorsport representing Competition Clutch. Driving a brand new car this year, previously piloted by a number of different people. This car been in the BDC before, driven by Stephen McDonnell from Scotland, then owned by Steve Bagsy Biagioni. This car actually made its appearance again at Gymkhana Grid in South Africa, and then bought by the Master Fabricator himself. And a nice initiation there from Jason Clark. 1JZ under the bonnet. Oh, nice and deep into out zone 3. Clark looks like he's got this car back where he needs it to be. Again, said he had a lot of issues with this car in the last couple of weeks. Spent most of his time in his brand new business building the Z4 BMW of Adam Simmons and left it to the last minute to prepare his own car. But nevertheless, Clark puts on a show and takes it across the line. He'll be happy with that second run.
He will be very happy with that. It was a very tidy run, very confident, wasn't it?
So where does he end up with his second qualifying run of the day? And a 49 dead for Jason Clark, puts him in 14th position at the moment. And sitting on the line behind him is his teammate, the DKM BMW Z4 LS3. Oh, and problems there. Look like a misshift for Adam Simmons. As you can see him just a little dab of the handbrake as he enters that out of zone 4, but that misshift on the run up to initiation messed up his flow. Oh wow, and Simmons goes super wide, almost takes the back bumper off that brand new BMW. Gets nice and high on the bank. He looks like he's going to drop a wheel, but he keeps hold of it. And Simmons, not the best run, a little bit scrappy there, but nevertheless he puts down a run. So a 39 for Simmons on his second qualifying run, doesn't improve, moves him into 11th position. And Ian Phillips comes off the line, the business. With supercharged LS 350Z. And a nice line so far from Ian Phillips, the mechanical engineer from Richmond in North Yorkshire. And Phillips doing a nice tidy job so far. Very consistent driver, very calculated driver, and a super nice guy behind the scenes. As Phillips finishes off his run. Scored us. Oh, we didn't get his first score. He scored a 64 on his second run, though, puts him into a 14th position, so he'll be happy with that. And we appear through the roll cage of the Lithuanian lunatic on the line, Aramis Vaskalis. And Vaskalis broke the coil over on the end of practice earlier and got this car back together and back out. Absolutely flying right now. The Lithuanian is going to want a top qualifying. Oh, he's mega wide. Runs the tyres with the back bumper and takes the back bumper clean off that E46 BMW. Keeps in it though. Absolutely committed. The Lithuanian lunatic now puts foot to floor. Looks for a big upshift. Nice and wide on the back. Look at this, almost dropping a wheel over. Gets the car completely over the edge of track. Judges got their hands in the air. Teesside Autodrome makes some noise for the Lithuanian lunatic, Aramis Vaskalis. Was that impressive enough for you, Sarah?
I've got no words for that one. I'm just staring at the screen with my mouth open, really. That was absolutely amazing.
So, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately our app system just had a freak out there. Vaskalis come in that hot that he freaked the app out.
Yeah.
The app shut down and was like, no, I can't put that score in. But ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, taking first place in qualifying right now is Aramis Vaskalis. Aramis Vaskalis, the Lithuanian lunatic, takes first place qualifying. And that guy, someone to watch as we move into our top 24 battles later on today, and top 16.
I can't wait.
Crazy
driver.
It's
going to be absolutely epic, isn't it?
We go back to the start line, though. We're not done just yet. Julie Robinson now sits on the line in a borrowed car from Louis Edwards. You know what, Louis Edwards, if you're in the house listening right now, shout out to you for lending Julie that car, because it isn't, you know, I said earlier, I wouldn't lend my road car out to anyone, let alone my race car.
And she looks super sad earlier.
And she does. Look at this opposite flick from Robinson. Nice initiation into the wall. And Julie Robinson, a veteran in UK drifting, and a credit to female drifters all around the world. This young lady been in the game for many, many years now. And a good transition back. Look at this. That car and her and Louis Edwards just seem to work together. Look at it. Absolutely perfect right now. She's absolutely flying. Flies it into the final clipping point. Nice and high on the bank. Arm out the window.
She's
Julie
happy
Robinson,
with that.
ladies and gentlemen. So she scored a 43.6 on her first qualifying run. She currently sits inside top 24 competition, but she will have to battle. But look at this, a 55 jumps her way up the order into 17th place. She's going to have to battle to move into top 16 later on today, but nevertheless, Julie Robinson will be happy to make it into competition. Stefan Stefanov sits on the line, the Romanian drift champion. Moved.
Is this the guy that's moving over here?
Yep.
Just for this?
Yep, moved just for this. Dedication,
at its
unbelievable.
Best, yeah.
2JZ under the bonnet, 500 horsepower. This guy absolutely flying in practice. Had a little bit of an off yesterday, but seems unfazed right now as Stefan Stefanov gets nice and deep into outer zone 4. His foot to floor, a nice big clutch kick on the transition. And again, look at this, really working the car. You can listen to him working the throttle and clutch, getting that car dialed nice and high on the bank now. And these European drivers are not messing around this year. Stefan Stefanov puts it across the line. Brilliant run there from the Romanian champion. So there we go, Stefan Stefanov's scoreboard drops onto the screen. 260 so far. He scored a 41 in his second one. He scores a 60 dead, 16th position. So he will be doing battle later on, but I'm excited to see that guy do battle later on today. Alexis Drew now pulls to the line, the junglist. Comes off the line, G3 Pro, representing as he did a big man G flick. Now that's not what the judges were looking for, so I wonder if he's going to get scored down for that, as Alexis Drew fires that car into outer zone 4, and a nice line so far as he comes through the centre of the circuit. A good transition back now into the outer zone. Very nice line, but he's going to be wide. He's Did it again, another driver that
Done it again.
falls foul to that wide line. And Alexis Drew, you can see him just backing out of it, a little waver on the steering wheel there, trying to keep that car on track. Takes it across the line nevertheless. And the 666 horsepower, the number of the devil.
So what does that tell us, though?
He's the devil.
Who himself?
Pardon?
The driver himself is the devil.
Yeah, Alexis Drew is the devil.
I'm a bit concerned now.
19th position for Alexis Drew. He doesn't improve on his first qualifying run, but nevertheless, he will make it into competition. Ollie Elmore now on the line. As I mentioned earlier, this guy having no end of troubles with his car. A fresh rebuild in the off-season. But Ollie Elmore is determined to put a run on the board. Can he make himself inside competition? But he catches a whole load of understeer. Drops himself off track, and Elmore's weekend goes from bad to worse right now. That will be another 0. I'm guessing a big understeer like that after initiation. Elmore will be absolutely furious right now. As he comes past, ladies and gentlemen, give him a round of applause. Ollie Elmore having such a bad weekend. And the brand new season, a brand new pro campaign for Ollie Elmore, the Hell Motorsport driver, just not going the way it was. 2 zeros, 28th position, out of top 24. He's going to be hurt in the pits.
Yeah, he's going to be absolutely gutted about that.
Ashley Stevens now sits on the line, the Snap-on sponsored driver. He gets free tools. You know how jealous I am of that man. Free tools from Snap-on.
Does he get just boxes of 10mm sockets?
Yeah, just 10mm sockets. So 500 horsepower, 1JZ under the bonnet from Ashley Stevens. And as he lets off the shotgun right there onto the wall, the Elite Money design Snap-on tools. And Monkey 33, driver from the Black Country, puts foot to floor. Made his comeback to UK drifting last year, having some time out. He says he has no interest in facts whatsoever. Some of these guys are really boring, aren't they? They do nothing but drifting. But nevertheless, Ashley Stevens takes it across the line. The first qualifying run from Ashley Stevens was a 51, puts him in 21st place. So where does he end up after his second qualifying run of the day?
Hopefully he's doing enough to keep himself in that 24.
And look at that, a 64.3 pushes himself up into 13th position. And you know what, Sarah, with that score on the board, that means we are done for our qualifying. The formality is done and dusted. That means that we have our top 24 competition. Those guys, we're going head-to-head. So after a short break, we'll be back. Our top 24 competition will commence, and then we will have our top 16 parade, and then things will start heating up as these guys go head-to-head for a spot on the podium. We know how hard they've been pushing all day. What can they do later on? Well, we're about to find out. From me and Sarah in the tower.
See you in a little bit,
We'll
and
see you soon.
let's go and get a cup of coffee to warm up, eh?
We'll catch you soon.